To most Skyrim players, they're just another enemy. Savage tribals in bone and fur screaming, "The Reach belongs to the Forsworn," as they attack on sight. But are they really just bandits? Or are they the tragic heroes of their own story, the native people of the Reach, driven from their homes in a brutal massacre and now fighting a desperate guerrilla war to reclaim what was stolen from them? Hi guys, my name is Jason Hamilton. I'm a fantasy author, and this channel is all about exploring those lores and stories that inspire the work that I do. Today we're going to uncover the full brutal history of the Forsworn and ask the question, are they villains or victims? Now, our story begins in the year 174 of the Fourth Era during the Great War between the Tamrielic Empire and the Aldmeri Dominion. The Empire, desperate to defend its heartland in Cyrodiil, pulled its legions from across the continent, leaving provinces like Skyrim dangerously exposed. In the rocky mountainous region known as the Reach, the native Reachmen saw their chance. For centuries, they had lived under the heel of Nord rulers, and now with the Imperial garrison gone, they took up arms. They swarmed the city of Markarth, drove the Nords out, and for the first time in generations, they were free. They established an independent kingdom, ruling from the Fourth Era 174 to 176. And according to some imperial accounts, like that of the scholar Arrhenius Arius, their rule was surprisingly peaceful. Yes, some harsh Nord landowners who had mistreated the natives met a grim end, but overall, the new kingdom was fair and was even trying to get official recognition from the Empire. But the disposed Nord Jarl Hrafnir wasn't willing to negotiate. He was desperate to reclaim his hold, but lacked the men to do it. So he made a deal with a young, charismatic, and ruthlessly ambitious Nord warrior, Ulfric Stormcloak. Ulfric and his militia would retake Markarth, and in return, Hrafnir promised them the one thing that the Empire had forbidden, the free worship of Talos. It was a promise that directly violated the White Gold Concordat, the treaty that ended the Great War, but Hrafnir was willing to risk it. This deal would set in motion a chain of events that would eventually lead to Skyrim's civil war. But first, it would lead to a massacre. Ulfric Stormcloak and his militia descended on Markarth. With the power of his Thu'um, the voice, he shouted the Reachmen defenders from the city walls. A battle raged and the Nords were victorious. But what happened after the battle was over is the dark secret that created the Forsworn. Once the city was secured, Ulfric began a systematic slaughter. And this wasn't just about killing enemy soldiers. According to imperial records, any official who had worked for the Forsworn kingdom was put to the sword, even after surrendering. Anyone who had not taken up arms to fight with Ulfric when he stormed the gates was branded a traitor and executed. Shopkeepers, farmers, the elderly, even children old enough to lift a sword who had failed to join his charge. Native women were tortured to give up the names of fighters who had fled into the hills. The message was, you are with us or you are against Skyrim. The survivors scattered, fleeing into the wilderness of the Reach. They were no longer a kingdom. They were a broken people, filled with a burning hatred for the Nords who had butchered them. They became the Forsworn. The Nord Jarls chased them out of the city, and from that day forward, the Forsworn have made travel in the Reach a perilous nightmare. They are a ghost, haunting the land that was once theirs. Their rage forged in the fires of the Markarth Incident, and that rage was about to be twisted into a weapon for someone else's war. The leader of the Reachmen, King Madanach, was captured during the siege. He was sentenced to death, but the execution never happened. In secret, Thonar Silverblood, the patriarch of the wealthiest and most powerful family in Markarth, intervened. Thonar saw Madanach as not a king, but as a tool. He had Madanach secretly imprisoned in Sidna Mine, Markarth's brutal silver prison, and made him a deal. Stay his execution, and Madanach would use his influence to direct the Forsworn's rage. Need a business competitor dealt with? Snooping imperial agents silenced? Madanach, the king in rags, would whisper an order from his cell, and a Forsworn assassin would strike in the city above. For 20 years, Thonar used the Forsworn as his personal hit squad, letting Madanach run his rebellion from the inside as long as it served the Silverblood family's interests. This is the state of the Reach when the Dragonborn arrives. The Nords in Markarth live in fear of the savage Forsworn in the hills, never realizing that the Forsworn are also operating within their own walls. Their strings are being pulled by the city's most powerful family. And in the wilds, the Forsworn themselves have fractured. They exist as scattered independent tribes. They raid, they ambush, and they kill any Nord or Imperial they find, fighting a desperate and decentralized guerrilla war. As one prisoner in the Sidna Mines puts it, there are no innocent onlookers in this struggle, just the guilty royalty and the dead. Before we move on, a quick moment. I know a lot of you have tight budgets, zero time, and an endless list of things you want to watch or read, and so I get it. I'm here not to sell you anything, but I run a free fantasy community over on School. When you join, you get instant access to 4 of my books, which is a mix of short stories and novellas, completely free, no strings attached. If you join and decide my writing isn't for you, you've lost like a minute. If you love it, you can choose to upgrade to a paid tier and help support the channel. It's a 30-second sign up, and the link is in the description. Now back to the Forsworn. So who are these people really? While their gear made of bone, fur, and feathers looks primitive, their culture is ancient and complex. The Forsworn are Reachmen, but it's crucial to remember that not all Reachmen are Forsworn. Many live peacefully in cities like Markarth, trying to get by under Nord rule. Ethnically, the Reachmen are Bretons, descended from the ancient Nedic people with a significant amount of elven blood mixed in over the millennia. This heritage is represented in their sort of Celtic-inspired names like Madanak, Kai, Duak, Einethak. They are the true natives of the Reach, and for thousands of years they have followed what they call the Old Ways. To the Nords in the Empire, these ways are heretical. The Reachmen don't worship the 9 divines, their worldview is animistic, they see spirits in everything like mountains, rivers, and animals. The most powerful of these they call the Great Spirits, beings outsiders would recognize as Daedric princes. But the Reachmen don't see them as good or evil, they are seen as cruel teachers. Their religion isn't about abstract morality, it's a collection of practical, brutal lessons for survival in a hostile world. 3 great spirits form the core of their belief system. Chief among them is Hircine, the hunter, the lord of the hunt. He represents the terrifying, ever-present reality of their world. You are either predator or prey. This explains their antlered headdresses and their relentless focus on the hunt. Life is a constant struggle, lived breath by breath. Then there is Namira, the spirit queen. She is the avatar of beginnings and endings, life and death. Where others see only decay and revulsion, the Reachmen see her as a spirit of rebirth. This is why their rituals often involve blood and death, not out of pure malevolence, but as an acceptance of the natural cycle. And finally, there is Lork, who is another name for Lorcan. In Reachmen myths, he created their world, Mundus, not as a paradise, but as a hard and painful place, a testing ground designed to forge spirits through suffering. This belief in transcendence through pain is the key to understanding the most terrifying figures in the Forsworn ranks. The spiritual leaders of the Forsworn are the Hagravens. These grotesque creatures, a horrific fusion of woman and crow, were once mortals who traded their humanity for powerful, wild magic. They served as the matriarchs of the Forsworn clans, guiding them in performing the dark ritual that created their most feared warriors, the Brierhearts. A Brierheart is a warrior who has undergone a symbolic reenactment of Lork's sacrifice. With the help of a Hagraven, a willing Reachman has his own heart literally ripped from his chest, is replaced with a Brierheart, a strange magical seed taken from a sacred tree, which is stitched savagely into the open cavity. The ritual chant goes, "Heart of thorn, bone of the wild, in life forsworn, rise from death, our blood." The process grants them immense strength and resilience, making them almost unstoppable in battle. But it comes at a cost. They are not undead, but they are no longer truly living. They exist in a state beyond life, sustained by dark magic and an undying will for vengeance. According to legend, the first Brierheart was a legendary hero named Faulan, or Red Eagle, who made a pact with a Hagraven to fight off the Alessian Empire in the First Era. To this day, becoming a Brierheart is seen as the greatest honor for a Forsworn warrior, the ultimate sacrifice for their people. So we return to the question, are the Forsworn villains or victims? The answer, like the history of the Reach itself, is messy. From the perspective of a Nord traveler or an Imperial merchant, they are absolutely villains. They are brutal killers who ambush and murder without mercy. They are terrorists who seek to plunge the entire Reach into chaos. Their methods are savage, and their devotion to what others see as dark gods is kind of terrifying. But that's only half the story. The Forsworn, as they exist in Skyrim, were created as an act of genocide. They are the survivors of a brutal ethnic cleansing, pushed out of their homes and forced into the wilderness. Their entire culture, their old ways, has been outlawed and suppressed. Their king was used as a political puppet for 2 decades. They are a people with their backs against the wall, fighting for the one thing they have left, their identity and their ancestral land. They are a tragic, brutal consequence of conquest. They are what happens when a people are pushed so far that the only language they have left is violence. They are both villains and victims, trapped in a cycle of bloodshed that started long before they were born. Their war cry, "The Reach belongs to the Forsworn," is not just a threat, it is a desperate, grieving plea from a people who have lost everything. If you enjoy diving into these hidden histories, you can join my free fantasy community on School and get 4 of my books right now. The link is down below. It takes less than a minute, and I'll see you in the next video.